So, I'm in Jerusalem and I'm on my way to therapy, right? So, I thought I would just share my thoughts about certain things. Like, for example, I um, I would actually have done this live on my other channel, Life with HANNI, but basically I can't do live on my phone on my other channel because I need at least 50 subscribers, and I only have 46. I need 50 subscribers to be able to go live on my other channel, Life with HANNI. So I'm doing it on this channel. Anyway, so my thought was, the Chris Watts case. It's basically Chris Watts. He killed his wife and 3 kids. So there are so many people who they have like a fetish for murderers, you know? Like, I feel like some people, they have a fetish for thinking that they would be able to get out of a situation like Shannan Watts. So for those of you who don't know, the story is that there was a lady once upon a time, her name was Shannan Watts, and she married this guy, Chris Watts. He befriended her on Facebook, and then he befriended her, and then they became a couple. They got married, and they had 2 kids, and then there was a third one on the way, and he was having an affair with another girl named Nicole Kessinger, and then he went and murdered his wife to be with Nicole Kessinger. He thought he has to get rid of his family, so he got rid of Nicole. No, he got rid of Shannan and the 2 kids in a very brutal way. And then I found out I was watching another channel and I found out a new information about Shannan. Basically, her baby that she was pregnant with it was found out of her body, like next to her body. It was still attached to her through the umbilical cord, you know? And the baby was like maybe 3 months, 4 months already pregnant, and the baby was found outside her body where she was buried, right? So, what was my point? What was I trying to say about this? Basically, I feel like there are so many people that fetishize this whole case. For example, like some people write there's some channels that make content about Shannan and they criticize her. They say, oh, she was a controlling wife, she was domineering, she was controlling, so they're not saying, they say, oh, I'm not saying that she deserved to die, but I just think this is the reason why it happened and why he cheated and everything. But I feel like what they're trying to say is basically they're excusing his actions. They think it's an excuse. What he did was okay. And like when I believe that Shannan she was actually an empath. 1 second. I don't know if you can see. Shannan was actually an empath, and I wrote in a comment on that lady's channel where she thinks that, if she says, if I were Shannan's friend, I wish I was Shannan's friend so I could have helped her through her marriage. But what kind of person wants to be married to somebody who's capable of murder? You know what I mean? Shannan Watts. Basically, I'm talking about the Watts case. The lady that was murdered, her and her 2 kids by her husband. So, basically the channel is like not the channel. I feel like the other channel is criticizing her, and people are saying, making up stories about the dead woman, that she hurt her kids and she abused her kids. Like, they make up lies about her. And I feel like, I don't know what's wrong with people, you know? Like, why are they so, it's like, it reminds me of those people that marry murderers in prison. There's like a lot of women that will, not a lot, but there are some women that will, um, there's a lot of women that will befriend murderers in prison and marry them. Have like a love affair, you know? It's like a weird fetish that people have. And I don't know why I get frustrated when I think about how people make up stories about Shannan and her two kids. Like, what he did, what Chris Watts did to his family, it was so gruesome and disgusting and disturbing. Like, how could anybody even rationalize what he did? How could anyone even put the blame on Shannan? Like, oh, she was a controlling wife. Okay, half the world of women is controlling and domineering, you know? But their husbands don't walk around killing people. The husband doesn't walk around killing the wife and the children. So there's like a lot of people that are having conspiracy theories, like, how come Shannan, how come Shannan, excuse me, how come Shannan, just, my mind is blank, I think because I didn't sleep much last night. How come her baby was, like, basically Chris, he humiliated his wife. He killed her, he strangled her, and then he dumped her in a grave, head first, with her butt sticking up out of the grave, and her butt wasn't even covered. He didn't bother covering her. Like, he just tossed them out like garbage, and he put the two kids in the gas tank, in the oil tank. So when they tried to get them out of the tank, oh my god, it's like disgusting to describe. Like, it's gruesome. The hole they tried to get them out in, I don't know how they got them out, but the kid's skin came off. That's how bad and toxic the oil from the gas tank, he dumped them in like garbage. He just dumped them in the gas tank, and his wife he put in a grave. And so there's people wondering, like, did somebody like give her an abortion? Did someone give Shannan an abortion? Like, in some sick, fucked up way, you know, like, because her baby was actually, I never knew this fact about the case, that her baby was actually found. Her baby was actually found right next to her, still attached to her, like with the placenta and everything, you know? So I just thought I should, how do you say, I should express myself, because, talk about it, because, I don't know why I get so angry. Like, these other people, like, I don't understand them. Like, why are they making excuses for the guy? Why are they rationalizing his actions? Why are they rationalizing the case at all? Like, oh, she drove him to the point of madness. Please, I don't believe that. Like, here in the Middle East, most of the women here are tough as nails. See, I'm in Jerusalem. The women here, they go to the army. They're very aggressive and pushy and controlling. And it's very unusual for, like, the husbands to just turn on their families. Like, a lot of the guys they marry these tough women, but they don't go and murder their whole family, you know? Yeah. 1 second. Yeah, as I was saying. 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 Like, everybody's saying, oh, Shannan did this, Shannan did that. She put her husband down, she put him down. And I'm just like, that's what that's what relationships is. It's difficult. It could be emotionally, verbally abusive, which is, I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's a good thing, you know. I'm not saying it's a good thing what like putting your spouse down. I'm saying there's no rationalization. There's no rationale on what the guy did to his family. There's no way to rationalize what he did to his kids and his wife, and it doesn't matter how controlling or how much you put him down, because come to the Middle East, the women here are like, they're not even like men. They're just tough, you know? Yeah. The women here look like men, even. You know? Anyway. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. There's so many channels, if you look on YouTube, so many channels of like these women that are fetishizing this whole, what happened. They're like, oh, if I were her, one lady says, if I were her friend, Shannan's friend, none of this would have happened. Oh, yeah, she was a bad person because she controlled her husband. You know what? Maybe the guy needed to be controlled, you know? Still, no excuse. No excuse at all for what he did, because then anyone in any relationship is gonna just start lashing out and doing what he did. And he's not the only one. Like, I feel like there are other family annihilators, like, who's the other guy? There's many cases where the guy kills his whole family, but nothing has blown up to the proportion of the Chris Watts case. I feel part of it was because he was, like, not my type, but he was good looking, right? He had abs, he was all ripped, you know? So I feel like that's partially why all these people have like fetishes for him. Some weird kind of like, they they think about him in a twisted way, you know? They think it's somehow different than the other men. They think that the Chris Watts case, what he did to his family, is different from any other man that killed their family. Like, oh, the other men are bad. They're not bad because, no, the other men are really, really evil because they're just bad people, and they kill their family, so that's like completely fine. That's not completely fine, like they're bad. But Chris Watts, oh, he's special. We have to excuse his actions. We have to say why. We have to say why it's okay what he did. We have to make excuses for him, and we even need to be his friend. And we also we need to trash the dead. You know, we need to make up stories about the dead people, about the people that were murdered, about the lady that was murdered. We need to, like, the people they like, okay, the other murderers that killed their whole family. Oh, they're bad, but Chris Watts, he's an exception. We have to, because he's good looking or whatever. Okay, we have to make up stories about Shannan, that she's a bad person and she hurt her kids when that's not true. And we have to rationalize why Chris Watts did what he did to his to his wife and kids. You know, like, people are really like fucked up in the head. They're like perverted. They're like, it's a strange thing. You know, Chris Watts, he gets love letters. He gets love letters from he gets love letters from in prison from women. You know, he gets it's like a thing. Women have some sort of weird thing going on with these murderers, and you know, like Chris Watts is not the only one that gets love mail from women in prison. Like, he's not the only one that has women in love with him. Other murderers, such as Ted Bundy and all these other serial killers, there are women that like them too. There are women that like them, that love them, are in love with them, and they also got love mail from, they also got love letters in prison from women that were sick in the head fetishists, you know? Yeah. Almost there. Yeah, I just thought I had to express myself on that. There's really no rationale to why a person would take another person's life in the way they did, the way he did. And what got me most shocked just now was finding out what happened to his wife. Like, the baby somehow got out of her body. Nobody knows how it happened. If it happened naturally, like, not naturally, of course it's not natural, but like, if someone did it, like aborted the baby and left her like that, or if when she died the baby she just gave birth, you know? Very strange thing. Very strange thing to happen. Anyway, at my therapy now. I'll maybe do a tarot reading later, and all of you who can subscribe to my other channel, Life with HANNI, because I need 50 subscribers to be able to do live. So, alrighty, talk next time.